that we are getting to host these summer fun run calls. It kind of pausing there, but it's just truly an honor. I don't know how else to say it, because getting poured into by these 9 other ladies has been such a blessing for me. And it's something that I love to extend beyond me and have the benefits for all of you guys. So if you were wondering, because I had people ask after the last one, so a lot of us are, I mean, there's a few of us where we have like our upline here. I know for me, it's just such an honor. I'm like, I have 3 people in my upline here, but for most of the rest of us, if that makes sense, we're cross-line to each other. And the value of that I want to instill in you as we run forward through our Zoom tonight is that we grow and share by trusting each other and investing time when we can't always measure the return. If tonight no one from my team came to the Zoom, I still would be invested in the return on what your results will be this summer and beyond. I want you to grow that same feeling in your heart, have that mindset, and know that sometimes when we're in a race, like we're doing this fun run, I might be running beside someone that is running with me for a moment, but they're not actually in my organization training with me for the whole race season. They're just there on that race that one time. Or maybe they're there on the track with me that one workout. Or maybe they're stretching and warming up with me, but they're a power walker and that day I'm a sprinter. And I want you to realize that your growth isn't always dependent on what people on your team are doing, where they are, if they came or if they didn't come. A lot of what the magic is of network marketing, and especially the community we have within Young Living, and the specialness of this specific gathering is that we are here for each other. We are here to cheer each other on through the finish line, no matter what the pace is, and no matter if we view it as a race against ourselves, against someone else, or a race that never really ends for some of us that we're always continuing to run. So before we get started, I just wanted to say that, and then just some housekeeping things. The chat is available for you. Please chat it up. We love to hear from you. If you'll go ahead and comment in the chat, we'd love to know where everyone's from. Where everyone's from, I would love to know your closest timing, because I think that's fun. And then the third thing is I want to know what you think of your summer fun run. Are you still at the start line? Are you a sprinter all summer long? Is it truly a fun run where you're experiencing it every day? What you got going on? And as we go through this tonight, we are going to do the 5-a-day model, where we've been posting, a lot of us in our groups, about 5 different ways to truly grow this summer. And most of them are going to contain IPAs, kind of in a traditional sense, but some are a little different. They're going to challenge you and grow you. So we are going to share that tonight in a semi-systematic way. And what I mean by that is none of us will be talking for longer than 5 minutes-ish at a time. There's one speaker, I feel like we could probably learn from her for a little more than 5 minutes. But what I want to just tell you to do the whole time is turn on your camera, get to chatting, and when you have a question, please put it in the chat, and know that we will loop back around for a Q&A at the end, especially if we all can stick to that model of 5 minutes. So I get to pass it off. I haven't seen her lovely face yet. Where is she? This is so crazy. I've not seen my friend Stephanie. There we go. Steph Morum. I've not seen her since we were in Hawaii together and we're rooming together, and then the world shut down. Like, I just think the whole thing is like comical when I say that. I'm like, and then 5 weeks, no one ever saw each other again. So it's great to be on here with her. She's going to kick us off by sharing social media and just what's going on with her right now as far as growth, and some ways that we can learn from her. She hopefully will tell us how to follow her, and you will learn so much. I learn so much from her all the time, and it's just fun being her friend, because she grows me and challenges me. And I love that. And also, we just have a lot of fun, like a whole lot of fun. All right, Steph, let's go ahead and hear from you.
Hey everyone, before we get started, I hope everyone can hear me okay. If you can't, let me know in the chat. But just so everybody knows, if anyone needs an interpreter, an ASL interpreter, Jess is here and she's interpreting right now, because I have people on my team that need an interpreter. So I made sure there was someone on the call. So look for Jess. It says interpreter if you need one, and she's here to help you. So let's quickly talk about social media. My first tip for you is to choose a platform that you're comfortable on and choose a platform that you want to go all in on. I know you might see a lot of influencers that use multiple platforms. That works for some people if they have the time and they have the dedication to work Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the places. I suggest you pick one because most of you are probably new to social media. Pick one. I pick Instagram. That's my number one platform that I personally use. So when I'm talking about Instagram, you can apply this to the other platforms, but I'm just using the lingo that goes with Instagram. So number one tip, pick a platform. Second tip, you want to be consistent on Instagram. I know everyone hears this in network marketing or any business that you're in, be consistent. I know it's super cliche, but it is the honest to good truth. You need to be consistent in what you do. If you post once a week on Instagram, once a week on Facebook, once a week on Snapchat, once a week on TikTok, once a week on LinkedIn, or wherever else you're hanging out, on Clubhouse, you're there once a week, you're not going to grow because no one knows where you are. They're not looking for you. If you're constantly on Instagram and you're posting at minimum once a day in your feed, people are going to be searching for you. People are going to want to be, oh, what is Ashley up to today? What's Tracy up to today? What's Carrie up to today? So you want to be consistent by posting once a day at minimum in your newsfeed. And then you want to be posting in your stories. And when you're posting in your stories, you could post up to 10 times a day. And that is just kind of the behind the scenes of your life, what you're up to. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything about Young Living. It could be about your family. It could be that you run. It could be that you love cooking. It could be that XYZ. It could be about anything. So you want to be posting on your feed and you want to be posting in your stories. But my number one growth hack for you is to use Reels. I know maybe some of you are like, I don't want to be on video. It's so goofy. I don't want to dance. I don't want to do funny stuff. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be whatever it is you want it to be. It could be one, education, where you're showing people something about how to use the oils. It could be a hack that you have that has nothing to do with Young Living, just a life hack, a family hack, a kid hack, and you're just speaking. It could be that you do a funny dance. It could be that you are lip syncing to some random song, but just be creative. And side note, if none of you know who Brock Johnson is, write his name down. Brock Johnson, it's Shailene Johnson's son. He is absolutely brilliant. He's young. Okay, bye. He's brilliant. He's super relatable, and he is going to show you how to move the needle forward on Instagram. If you leave with nothing else, it's his name, and then you will follow him on Instagram and you binge his reels. And basically what I do is I go to his reels and I'm like, that looks really cool. I'm going to go do exactly what Brock did, but what it has to do with my brand. So I'm all about green living. I'm always posting about green living. And so I just copy what he does. And that's how I grow my reels. And it's also not about how many views you get. I posted a reel today and it literally bombed. Like, I'm like, it was really funny though. Like, I didn't know why. I was like, this is super funny. Why is no one looking at it? Apparently no one liked it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep it there because eventually someone's going to like it. But it's about how many people you engage with. It's not necessarily how many people view your stuff. It's how many people you're talking to, right? So what you're going to want to do, my last big tip for you, is that you want to engage with people every day on your social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat, on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn, wherever it is that you're hanging out. You want to engage with people. So if we're talking Instagram, every day on Instagram, I'm going to go find 5 random people or 5 people that aren't using oils, or don't know anything about green living, and I'm just going to go comment on their something on their news feed. I'm going to reply to something on their stories and just kind of be in their world. And then after a couple of days, I might ask them if they're interested at looking at the opportunity with Young Living. I might ask them if they're interested in looking at the product with Young Living. I'm just going to rip off that Band-Aid because I don't want to be in the friend zone for too long with these people, because it starts getting awkward once you're like BFS with someone on Instagram. You're like, oh, could I ask them to use the oils? Could I ask them about the opportunity? It gets kind of awkward. So you're going to want to rip off that Band-Aid early. So it's about how many people you engage with. Okay, my time is pretty much up because it's been 6 minutes. one, get a platform, pick a platform, two, follow Brock Johnson, I think it's Brock_11_Johnson. Can't remember. That's the second thing you need to do. Then you need to start posting reels on reels. Then you need to start posting in your stories, and you need to be consistent by posting in your news feed. Then after that, you need to pick a number. I picked 5. You can pick 10. You can pick 3, and you need to start talking to people. That is the only way you're going to grow on Instagram. If you're not talking to anybody, that means you're not asking anybody if they're open to the opportunity that Young Living offers, and you're not also asking people if they're interested in their products. Done. Thanks for listening, everybody. I probably talked really fast, but I wanted to get a lot.
Steph, it's really funny because I'm like, she should keep talking. This is so great. Get people to pull out your phone. So really what we're going to do, and I want to be clear, we're really going to try to stick to the time limit, other than Danette. And she's like, why are you calling me out? I want her to not stick to the time limit because she's going to do a product education piece that I think a lot of us probably, as we grow our businesses, we forget that the people we bring in don't know the things that we learned once. And that for me is like a huge thing that I miss a lot of times as growing. And Steph, put your handle. I know your handle, but I want put your handle in the comments. Steph is hilarious and so educational that I think you're going to be inspired. And what I'm saying, I think, is you don't want to duplicate someone that's successful already at it, right? You actually really want to have your own way of doing it and sharing, and maybe just learn their how-tos from it. So everyone else, put your handle in the chat. If you're nervous about it, who cares? No one cares. I mean, literally no one. No one's going to go on there and be like, oh my gosh, her Instagram sucks. No, they're going to go follow you and you'll have more new friends that do it. So I just want to say thank you. And now I'm super excited because we're going to learn some prospecting tips from my Royalcon Diamond upline. We are going to have Lindsay Gramont on here tonight. And I'm so excited to learn from her because she's going to share some things for how to prospect right now, like what that environment looks like, how to do it, some tips, tricks. I mean, maybe not tips and tricks. I'm just saying some verbiage there. Maybe it's going to be a consistent everyday what you do, and there is no hack, but I'm pretty sure her brilliance will show all of us a way to implement things right now, to show results right now. And that's something that I have always loved and admired about Lindsay, is that she will show you something to do right now and not just have you saying, here's what I'm going to do, right? It's like, let's plan, but let's do it now, and let's do it scared and push through that. So I'm so pumped to hear from her. And guys, again, keep the chat happening. We will have time for questions and we're going to have a blast. Just keep running through it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay? I've got my headphones on. I love thinking about prospects, because for me, it is all about the human factor right now, because each and every person that's out there, whether you find them online or in person, is a human being and is important. And something that I really have been trying to channel this whole year, I don't know if you guys realize or not, but I haven't been on social media. I just got back on like a week ago from like 9 months. So I have not been doing social media. It's something that I did consistently for, I don't know, over 10 years. And I just stopped cold turkey. And the reason why was I have developed some really great relationships locally. And I was really kind of channeling Gary, I guess, in a way, because it's really something that I remember about him before he passed away. Every time that I spent time with him or saw him talking with others, there was just this feeling of being present and always making sure that when you were with him, like, he always made sure that you were heard and that you felt like your time standing there, even if it was only a short 30 seconds, would feel extremely powerful and meaningful. And so I think when we think about prospects, that it's really, really important to remember that, yeah, I mean, Danette just typed it. You were the only person in the room. That is how it felt when you were talking to Gary. And I really think that that's such an amazing quality. I don't know about you, but when someone is like that, it's like everything stops, and you really, really pay attention. And the past 9 months, I've really gotten to play with that and to do that really intentionally, because there's not been this pull to look at my phone, whether I'm with my kids or my husband. I just haven't had that pull. And I'm not suggesting that you hop off social media by any stretch. That is not what I'm suggesting, unless you want to. I mean, it was fine. I developed these really great in-person relationships through this whole event, and we spent a lot of time together. And for me, that is what I needed. That is what I needed during this time, even though for many, many years, most of the relationships I had were online. And so it's like the switch flipped, and I just was spending more time in person with people. And when, those people became my dear friends, and they became my friends without knowing what I did, really. And it was just really very interesting all the time hanging out with all of these different people. But they became my friends, but also your friends are your prospects, right? Every human that you encounter is a prospect, to be honest. And I think it's just important that we always remember that the people that we are around and the people that we encounter, to always be present and to be authentic and to develop those relationships. And so I have seen through developing these relationships through other chats, whether that be on GroupMe or wherever, right? When you're in a text thread with a bunch of women or moms or crunchy moms or whatever, it's just interesting when you bring a whole group of people together, you'll see how other people do it. Okay, so I'm sitting back and I'm watching, I'm new, these are all new friends. And there's, always someone who jumps in and is like posting about their opportunity. And it was just always interesting to me to watch how these things played out, and to learn again, to relearn, to always know that I have always done this from a place of integrity. And that's what I'm asking for you tonight, is that it doesn't have to be like this wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I want everyone to know what I do right off the bat. I think it's really important to be patient and to know that, like Ashley said at the beginning of this call, that it doesn't matter what you do right in this moment. It matters how you behave, and how you behave with integrity, and how you behave with authenticity, because all of that's going to come back to you. If you truly are putting information out there to help, and you are truly building good relationships, then it's going to come back a millionfold, and it's going to figure its way out. And so I think it just really, truly matters to be authentic and present with people. So when we think about even talking with someone on Instagram, I just had someone reach out. I've only been online for the past week, but the person actually reached out with what I'm putting out into the universe right now. They reached out to me because they saw that I was in Austin, and they had found my website like a year ago, but they realized I was in Austin and they want to meet me in person, which I find hilarious. This is someone on Instagram, the first prospect I've heard from online in a while, and it's someone who wants to meet in person. And I'm like, yes, for sure. Like definitely want that. So it's when you put things out, that's what you're going to get back. And so I'm putting the energy out right now that I want to be in person with people. And that's exactly what I'm getting back. And so I just think it's important to know that in every season that you're in, even if you're like me, I don't want to be on social media right now, or I want to again, whatever season you're in, that's what you're going to get back, right? It's like a mirror always. And when you think of the people that you want to attract, you need to be putting out the type of energy that you want to attract back. And that can happen no matter where your presence is right now, whether it's more in-person events or it is online. So that's kind of what I just wanted to put in your head to think about when you're prospecting, is just to be present, to be authentic, to have integrity, and to be patient. Developing new friendships requires effort. And you know, for me, that's the effort that I want to put in right now. And so whatever you put out, the energy you put out is what you are going to get back. So think about the energy you're putting out right now to the people you're prospecting, and that is who's gonna chase you or not. So think of it like a mirror, and hopefully, I know that whatever you're putting out there is what you're getting back right now. Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thank you. I think all of these reminders are so important because they translate the method of how we're sharing. Like they translate across it is what I should say. And I love that. Patience is not my gift. So if anybody here like call themselves patient, because I feel like people who actually believe they're patient are like beyond patient, because most of us, even when we believe we have it, are super short with ourselves and with others. And it's something I always want to grow in. So Tracy said, no, yeah, I'm like totally not either. I'm like, we should do this now. I know I don't pray for patience either, but dude, maybe I should. Maybe I
No,
need
but
some more
even
ways.
an example of that is like you're standing in a grocery store and if you're, not present, then you're going to miss opportunities to meet people or to just talk with people. I mean, I sit and chat with people at Natural Grocers all the time now because I'm not constantly thinking about, well, what should I be, showing in my stories right now? Or what should I've got to rush out because I got to do this, whatever. It's like, if you just can stand for a moment, it really doesn't take an extra few minutes, right? But that just being grounded, being present, you're going to meet a lot of great people and you don't want to miss those opportunities.
Yes. I should just say it because I'm typing it because it'll translate right into what I'm doing to talk about member engagement. But for me, I've never noticed about myself until I've had a friend that doesn't have any kind of network marketing. She is a stay-at-home mom and she's always on her phone. Like she answers like in 2 seconds. And she said something to me that I thought was really interesting. And it might sound silly to you guys, but I decided this year with homeschooling that I just wasn't like my phone. If I have it in my hand, I will answer. If I don't have it, I'm not going to answer. And maybe that sounds really weird for y'all, but some days I have 90 to 100 text messages, tons of Facebook notifications, and there's no way I am going to do that. And I'm not like, I'm very unapologetic because I can't do both. I can't be fully engaged at all with like homeschooling my kids or doing things with them, or being in person with people, and not even social media, but just responding to my phone. So sometimes I literally, yes, so many ways to get a hold of people. So for me, sometimes that's such a lie. A lot, I don't have my phone. Like I don't take it with me. Like I drive without it. Oh my goodness. I know, crazy, right? Or I put it in the drawer of my desk and then I forget that it's there for 8 hours. And I do that so that when I do have my phone, it's intentional engagement. And that is why I was saying it translates to what I was going to say next about member engagement. I feel more convicted than ever that regardless of the way that you build, in-person connection is not only necessary to grow your business, but it's essential for your growth as a person. And again, you're like, Ashley, great. Sounds super simple. I'm not talking about doing a one-on-one. I'm talking about intentional engagement with the people you're locking arms with for life to build this business. A Zoom is great. Nothing replaces being beside someone and literally smelling them, touching them. Like maybe it sounds weird, but y'all think about it. We think people look a certain way, or they have certain oils that'll be on them, or they are going to have certain nonverbal behaviors, or they're going to be people with lots of energy. Like we don't know what someone's truly like until we see them in person. And it was so clear to me last week. We gathered, Tracy and I hosted, we didn't really host, we coordinated. That's a better way of saying it. We coordinated a gathering of 21 of our members for virtual convention. And guys, we had people come from all over. We had someone travel internationally with her kids. We had people that are local to me that see me still come. I mean, I want you to think about what happened is people came because they wanted to see each other face to face. So member engagement for me right now, where you are, if you have one member within an hour of you, I want you to engage with them in person. If you have the capacity to travel and host a gathering for people on your team, you should do that. driving, flying, whatever that looks like for you. If you're able to sit around your own kitchen table and host a casual gathering of your builders and simply open the conversation, hot, not next, right? What's hot for you right now? What's not? What's the next step in your business? And then allow 2 hours of everyone sharing that, pulling out your phones, learning new skills together. Guys, last week we did product-based training. We did some emotional release things. We did raindrop. We had conversations about non-compliant things we wanted to know about. We sat around and 2 members of our team did a training on Instagram basics, a training on Reels. We had an Enneagram training. We had a training on fear, all impromptu and casual. And that is something that I just want to share, is that you don't have to be, here's what's fun about this. You can show up to your prospecting classes and your social media. If it's your style to be polished and perfect, do that. When you sit across the table or across the room or sharing a king size bed with your members who are in this together, running after this business with you, you probably want to show them a lot of the how to, a lot of the areas that you're struggling with, and a lot of the things where you're like, let's grow together. A lot of the, do you eat dairy free or you don't? A lot of the like, do you like outside or you're an air conditioned girl? Like whatever it is, being in person is so powerful. And it's the catalyst that I will tell you. I went to Winter Harvest because Lindsay chose to literally rent the farm and invite us there. I grew to platinum from that trip 6 weeks later. I went to Ecuador because it was in person and I met, this is so great. And it's going to sound really simple, but it's a best example. I had already met Erin, but on that trip, I talked to her. Her friendship, like our friendship together was formed from conversations on a bus in person in Ecuador. I also, she's done on here, I think tonight, but Nicole Perez, having snacks and drinks with her and her husband and me and my husband on that same trip, we would have never been able to exchange ideas if we didn't sit across the table. So I really want to encourage you. How wide is your table? How big is it? What about a house? What about a hotel? What about everyone paying their own way and spending 24 hours together? 48, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 1 hour right now. But whatever you have, I want you to open up your heart and expand. And especially, I'm talking to those of you that build online. I want to encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and invite some people to hang out, figure it out together, and encourage each other and share skills, share experiences, pray with each other, hug each other, share a meal. And that might not sound prescriptive, and I'm sorry it's not, but it's the simple reality and the truth. If you're resistant to it, that's okay. It works for everyone, and it crosses all ranks and personality types, and you can do it. And you can be fully present, and you can do it so scared and have fun and learn and grow together. So do that, gather in person, have it so you have topics, but have unstructured time where you're just hanging out and be present. All right, so I'm going to hand it off now to the pro of all pros, to the one who always knows, to the expert of all experts, to the queen of all oily protocols. She is the most prepared and the most knowledgeable person I know. And if you're on here and that's insulting you because I didn't say that about you, it's because Danette wins in those categories. And I just learn by, sometimes I'll message her and before she answers, I already feel like I've learned something. So I don't know what that says about her, but it for me is always just a privilege to sit at her feet and learn about business things, but really with her knowledge of what we can do to preserve our health, increase our health, and her background in Young Living, we need to take every note we can from her. So Danette, go ahead and share with us. And the topic tonight is oils, protocols, products, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, Ashley. That was way too generous. That's just because I've been around a long time, 18 years, hanging out. And I hope y'all notice the beautiful earrings that came from our Young Living Foundation partners in where? India. Yep. Oh, yeah. And Rwanda. Yeah. So if you have not gotten your Young Living Foundation beautiful jewelry and all the gorgeous things yet, I just happen to have all these right here because I'm petting them all the time. Make sure you do that from convention. We're going to talk about a couple things here tonight. And I told the girls, I'm like, oh man, I had too much to talk about. They're like, talk about it. And I'm like, okay, because I wanted to chat with you guys about, we were talking about daily protocols and oily protocols. I want to talk to you guys because inflammation is so key, right? Inflammation is key because when we have it, no bueno. And when we don't, we're in much better health, right? So we're going to talk about some daily protocols for limiting inflammation in the body. All right. I'm going to try to be somewhat compliant here. So let's talk about our body's inflammatory responses and a daily protocol that you can put together for supporting your body depending on your needs, right? All of us are not only biochemically different and genetically different, we have different environmental exposures, etc. So listen here, apply it, start with 1 or 2 products, start low and slow as you're going into this, and then you'll be able to learn more about your body and go from there, okay? So when we're talking about inflammation, there are external inflammatory triggers, right? Bacteria that come around, viruses, injuries, environmental allergens, things like that. There are also internal inflammatory triggers, right? So autoimmune things, lifestyle, right? Which can include stress or lack of sleep. Of course, our diet, right? That's key. Strenuous exercise, genetic propensities, like maybe like me, you have a bunch of MTHFR mutations, right? That we didn't even know about until the Human Genome Project. Okay, so when Gary created many blends and different, put ingredients together for different supplements, some of the information wasn't even available then, and yet so many of our supplements are so key for helping with those things, right? That's why you know that God was just all over that, giving him information before we even need it, right? Or know that we needed it. So I'm going to talk about some of my favorite and daily products that I do to help my body in response to these triggers. So first thing you look at are lifestyle triggers, right? And seeing how you can decrease inflammatory things like diet, sugar, bad fats, right? Like fried foods, things like that, that increase inflammatory, bad news things in your body. Trying to be compliant. Stress, not enough sleep, right? Chemicals. And then of course, when you're looking at all of those things, it is about, we talk about ditch and switch, but it is about ditching the things in your home, your office, your yard, your diet that are causing possible issues. Now I'm going to focus on some supplements, but remember are extremely helpful, effective oils like Copaiba, Aromaseas, Deep Relief, lemongrass, all the Cool Azul products, right? The oil, the pain cream, the sports gel, hugely important and effective. And our good old, I mean, just even talking about lavender and peppermint, right? So I love those. And when we're talking about getting great results and long-lasting results, the key to it all is being consistent with your supplements, right? So, or even oil usage, right? So we've all been there that people said, I used a drop of that once and it didn't do anything. Oh, let's back up. You used a 1 drop, 1 time, and you didn't maybe have a come to Jesus moment. I mean, like, we got to understand here that things take time to go down a bad path. So things take time to come back, okay? So when we are talking about a great product that you are finding very effective for you, I want to remind you to always have backups, right? Because we don't create this stuff in the lab. It is all natural, and sometimes we run out of things or we're waiting for them to come back into stock, right? So if Progessence Plus rocks your world and saves your marriage and all the good things, then you should have some Progessence Plus in your stash. You know what I'm saying? Some extra stuff. Let me tell you, this golden turmeric, this is going to be in my ER always, because we're going to talk about that for a minute. Now, if you have a lot of stress going on, right? Stress creates acid. Acid in the body creates inflammation, and that inflammation is what creates disease processes. Okay, so even if we're just acidic, maybe that's how we are, diet, whatever, that creates inflammation, that creates disease. But stress will always increase inflammation by increasing acid in the body. That's why when you're super stressed and you eat and you don't feel very good, that's because all that acid is just being dumped into your system. All right. So know that maybe in your, search for what would be good for you for inflammation support, Cortistop might be key for you, right? To help with the cortisol levels and your stress. Maybe you have gut issues. Okay. We're going to talk about some enzymes. Those are key, of course. Maybe you need to do capsules of Digest Vitality. See how compliant I was there? Or maybe under the tongue, things like that. So, but let's talk about some of my favorite products for decreasing inflammation in the body. And most people don't think about this, but man, Gary was so right. And I've been doing this for 18 years, ever since I first heard him talk about it. And it is our enzymes. Okay. We have 4 different enzymes. We have 4 now. We used to have like 8, but we're down to 4. But essential zyme caplets. All right, these babies. Gary took 4+ of essential zyme caplets 1 to 2 hours before breakfast every day. And what that helps to do is it helps break down the cell walls of any undesirable cells that we want hanging around, right? Because you can take things like vitamin C, where you're like, oh, I need vitamin C in my cells. Oh, I need all these different things to help support my mitochondria. If these things cannot get in the cell because there's a hard protein shell around that, then it does no good, right? We're just peeing it out. That's what happens. So you have to break down the hard protein shell of undesirable cells to get the other things in to do the job. Okay, so that's what Essential Zymes do. He created this. This was one of our very first products that he created. One of the very first products that have our essential oils in it, and key for you. Now, I personally take these in the middle of the night. I drink enough water. I know I'm getting up. In fact, I'll drink extra so that I know I'm getting up, because when he was taking 4+ on an empty stomach, I can go maybe 2 or so, but if I go to 3, they make me a little nauseous just being on an empty stomach. But if I take them in the middle of the night, they don't bother me, right? Because I'm asleep. So it's all good. So I'll take 4 or 5. I put them on the top of the lid, have some water right there in a glass. And when I get up, lip balm, essential zyme, pop them in, water, bathroom, bed, breaking down cells while I'm going down to sleep. So that's a win. So I want you to understand that's just part of my routine. Maybe as you hear different things, maybe you're like, I need to do that, or I can do 4 in the morning. That's no problem for me. Great, do that. Essential Zymes 4, right? So Essential Zymes, plural, -4. That is because it has 4 different types of enzymes in there many different types of enzymes, but they break down the keys: fats, proteins, carbs, and fiber. Okay. Now, these have 3 types of protease enzymes, right? These are proteolytic enzymes. That is what eat up inflammatory things in the body, or those proteolytic enzymes. So remember, when we increase acid in the body, we increase inflammation that turns into disease processes. So we want to eat up inflammation. So that's key for us. And what happens when we are not breaking those down is that we get extra proteins that belong only in the digestive tract getting into the bloodstream. And that is called leaky gut syndrome, right? And that is present in almost all autoimmune issues, degenerative diseases, things like that, is that major inflammation. So we always want to keep that down. Now, one of my other fave products, enzyme wise, we also have Allerzyme, right? So if you have a lot of sensitivity issues, this is a great one, digestive too. And then Detoxzyme, and I just switched these out. Like these two I just pulled off my desk. So just in the middle of the day, I can take 6, 7 of these, I pop those in, take some water, move on with my day, no problemo, right? We're just helping the body break things down. Okay, Sulfurzyme, here we go. Sulfurzyme, major help for supporting the body with inflammation. All it is, 2 products or 2 ingredients. MSM, which is our elemental sulfur, which is our hair, skin, and nails. That's what everything's made of, as well as Ningxia wolfberry powder. Because Gary knew that MSM is much better absorbed in the body when it is combined with vitamin C. What's the highest source of vitamin C in a food? Ningxia wolfberries, right? So that's how he combined them right there. So Melissa Sanchez couldn't be with us tonight. She's one of our great Summer Hustle leaders. But I remember when she had a tailbone injury, Cindy Haggerton was like, oh man, you need some like 3 or 4 Sulfurzyme every other hour, Essential Zymes 4 in between meals. And then she was actually doing like 2 to 4 ounces of either warm or in the summertime in Texas, room temperature, Ningxia Red, 2 to 4 times a day. Okay, so right there, that is huge in terms of support for all the different reasons, right? Now, let's talk about Life 9. You're like, why are we talking about a probiotic when we're talking about this? Well, not only is it one of the key ways to help reduce inflammation, when you up your probiotics, it significantly reduces C-reactive proteins, which are what cause inflammation in the body, right? So how amazing is that? So in a broad study, their probiotics significantly lowered inflammation in the body. And we can help, of course, our gut and everything with exposure to bacteria, right? By giving our body good bacteria to help combat that. But we have no control over by adding probiotics or we can help the body, support itself by giving it good probiotics, right? Good bacteria, good biotics, bacteria, good things, right? These studies, they were just like general probiotics. We know that Gary spent a ton of time. This used to be Life 5, okay? And then as time went on and more research came out, Gary added 4 more probiotics to this to make it Life 9. So a little bit of history for you. Okay, let's talk about BLM. BLM stands for bone, ligament, muscle. Okay, I remember in 2004, Gary said BLM stood for the Bureau of Land Management because it was so good for the terrain in our body, right? BLM, because we have such a lack of nutrients in our diets and soil. But it is a powerful nutrient combination to help support cartilage and joint health, as well as bone. And in my humble opinion, and for my life, I've been taking it for 18 years now. I think this was the very first supplement that I actually used from Young Living because I feel that you can never have too much or too early of support for your bones, ligaments, muscles, right? So don't wait until you have an issue to be supporting what supports you, all right? So know that you are supporting that. The collagen in here, the collagen and Agiles, which we're going to talk about. Collagen is the lattice work in the bones, okay? That is what calcium adheres to. If we don't have enough of that the lattice work, that calcium comes through and it just floats on through because it doesn't have enough to grab onto. So collagen is very important and one of the key things in our amazing BLM product. Now, Agiles, Gary was always so good at naming things, right? One of our many product names that are fully telegraphed, agility and ease. Agiles, got it? Agiles has frankincense resin as the #1 ingredient, right? We know that that has amazing support for inflammatory processes. Also has calcium fructoborate, right, which provides support for acute inflammation that's brought on by exercise. Also has turmeric, one of the most anti-inflammatory foods that we have. We learned a little bit about that last week, and we'll learn a little bit more. But we also have our spiced turmeric tea, right? So it also has hyaluronic acid, which is a major component of the synovial fluid, right? And that is what is found to increase the viscosity of that fluid, right? Because we want our bones moving well together, not being stuck and not having enough viscosity there to help support that joint. Also has the, like we talked about, the collagen, the UC2 undenatured collagen. A ton of research goes into this stuff. Then it has our oils that are wintergreen, copaiba, clove, and black spruce. Amazing support. So if you're like, I don't know what oils can support things. What are the oils in BLM? Well, I would say Idaho balsam fir, Idaho grand fir, wintergreen, and clove. All right, go grab those bottles. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're put in here for a reason. Very good. Now, lastly, let's talk to about our golden turmeric product. Talk about a game changer. Not only delicious, but I got a message this morning from a dear friend of mine, Deborah McClure, and I asked her to share with y'all what she told me this morning. So Deborah, if you want to unmute yourself, I got to hear what you got to say.
Hey, Danette, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak. So yesterday I got my Young Living convention, so I was super excited about just opening up the box. And so I think I really first went just to the turmeric because I was so interested in it. And I, in the past, have not used that any turmeric at all. So anyway, I was just from the convention last week, learned how great it was for, you know, inflammation and just joint health. So I thought, ooh, that really interested me. And plus I thought, okay, I can learn more about what it does and, you know, how it helps you. So yesterday, when I got it, I mean, it was all great. And then last night, just right before bed, because I think that I understood at convention that it was better to take it at bedtime, that it just helped restore while you're resting. It's doing its magic. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So I fixed, I just did a half a teaspoon of it with just some water and just mix it up and just drink it at room temp. And it was really, really tasty. And I thought, oh, I could probably drink a lot more of this. So then I made just a glass for my husband. And so we, you know, hour or so later, we go to bed. And this morning when I got up, kind of just my usual thing, get up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and make up the bed. And normally when I'm making up the bed, it's like, oh, you know, I'm pulling and stretching. And it's like, oh, I feel a little stiff about moving. And so this morning I did all of those things. And then I thought, well, gosh, this is kind of weird that I don't feel that stiffness that I normally do. And so I went in and I told my husband, I said, I'm thinking that turmeric worked. And he's like, what? And I said, well, I'm moving around so much easier this morning than I normally do. And I said, I'm not saying that it's magic, but I am saying that is the only difference from what my normal routine was that I added. So so I was so grateful that I got that and that that it helped. And it may, and like Danette had said earlier, I mean, you use one drop and sometimes it doesn't work. So sometimes you have to use it multiple times, right? To get benefits. So I was just grateful that just my first experience with it, that I saw you know, I saw relief and just a benefit. So, of course, after convention was over with, I placed an order for my husband. I mean, he ordered for himself, and I'm like, hey, you need this golden turmeric as well. So he got his in today. So it's like, okay, yeah, that will be in our ER. That will be in our ER each month. So I love the product and was super excited about it. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Deborah. I love that. One dose. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I mean, you don't share with Gary. You're like, yeah, you need your own bottle of it, right? Just saying. It has boswellia resin extract, right? Number 2 ingredient. Ginger root extract, very similar to turmeric. They're both ribosomes. They're both great at dealing with inflammation in the body. Tapioca fiber is a prebiotic. What does that mean? It is the food that our probiotics, our good bacteria, feed on to grow and be in good shape, right? So that is what we want because it helps support a healthy gut-brain axis, right? If your gut ain't good, promise you your brain's not going to be good for long. So great to use at night, like you heard Deborah. I saw like Ashley, man, putting it in Greek yogurt. I am all in for that. That sounds delicious, by the way, because it has a mango rose flavor, like ground up stuff, right? It's relax, restore, recover. I love this, but it's beautiful. You need so little of it. I can't even believe how little you actually need. But curcumin is the main active compound that has lots of research and a lot of press the last few years. And that's why it's sold in like every store. I mean, you can find it in Walmart or Costco and everything. But this is stuff that I did not know. It has very low bioavailability, curcumin itself, okay? So it is poorly absorbed and rapidly eliminated. I don't know about you, but when I am purchasing products for my body, I'm not looking for low absorption and excreted quickly. Those are 2 things I'm not looking for to pay for, you know what I'm saying? So our turmeric, ton of research went into this to have it bind to make this, it's non-water soluble. So it would normally just float on the top of the water. So we have to bind it with something to, so it is bound to a plant compound to make it more absorbable, okay? So that it not only stays in suspension in our body and mixes in the water, but so that it is not rapidly eliminated, okay? So it has to be bound to something to be stable long enough to get it into the cells. So the vehicle that we use is a plant-based colloidal matrix. So it's easily mixed in water. So when you place it, should have had a demo here. When you place in the water, you can see the videos that Young Living has. I mean, it just starts going down into the water like immediately. You can put cinnamon, you know, from your spice cabinet, whatever, and it just sits on top of the water, right? Does not dissolve like that. So the few other water soluble turmeric products on the market are emulsified, right? So that it blends up with synthetic polymers like polysorbates, right? So of course ours, not synthetic, no GMOs. And the key here too is particle size. And not only so it's palatable like that, of course, but the particles have to be very, very small to actually get into the cells of our body so we can enjoy all the benefits of that absorption, right? And oh, by the way, this product, 24 times more available to our body than most any other turmeric product on the market. And we are still doing research projects that are underway so that comes our way so we can talk even more about it, right? But taking just 300 milligrams of our golden turmeric is equal to almost 2,000 milligrams of any typical standardized extract. How incredible is that? 24 times more absorbable. Just saying. Okay, I want you guys to make sure that you are helping your body with keeping your inflammation as low as possible, right? That is a win for us. Gary created amazing products to help us with that. I don't have to use any other product on the market to help with that because we have such great things. So thank you guys for letting me go over. I want to make sure you get that because consumable products are what our business is built on, right? And what are our products built on in terms of what Gary said, why he made them? He never made a product for a profit. He only made them for a purpose. So when you get to start enjoying the benefits of our products, your life will be changed for the better. And I always want to remind you, are you just like totally ticked off at the person that shared Young Living with you? I would say that everybody on this call would say, no, I'm super grateful that they told me about these products. I want you to keep that in your mind when you're talking to new people, when you're sharing on Instagram, like, I am so grateful that Jim's aunt said, have you ever heard of lavender oil? This is the best one, right? So have that in your mind. You are doing such a great favor. Jess, you are doing awesome. I know I'm talking fast. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing all the signing. So love you guys. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to toss this back to the beautiful and lovely Ashley.
I don't know. I mean, beautiful and lovely. I'm going to go with it. I'm also going to go with the fact that I never can wear jewelry, and I try to wear these earrings to be cute for you guys. And I'm like, I want to take all of it off. I hate it. Like, it drives me crazy. You know why? I just want to be healthy. And I don't really always care about being lovely. Is anybody else with me? I am like, get the freaking inflammation down. I have to share this because I typed it in a chat with these ladies. Guys, the golden turmeric, just going to say this. I've taken it for 5 days in a row. So I took it 2 days last week with Tracy when we were away. Then I'm taking it 5 days in a row since I've been home. I have really chronic. I don't love talking about this. Is funny. I would say pretty severe chronic pain from a double curvature in my back. And I mean, it gets really bad when I travel. And I told my chiropractor yesterday, I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I feel the best I've felt in the past year. And I've had a lot of different things going on. I've had to get a lot of different adjustments, massages more frequently. And I bought a massage gun. I use a biomat. I use all of our products. And I'm like, it has to be the turmeric. That's the only factor that's different. And I would have never realized that if I didn't come to this call tonight. I wouldn't have, because I literally take, and you can raise your hand if you're with me, I take a lot of things. Like, I know my friend today, she's trying to get on her supplement routine. I gave her 3 to take, including Master Formula. And I told her, I'm like, I take 11 different bottles of things for Young Living every day. And I just do it because it's part of who I am, what I do. So just like adding the turmeric in, it didn't feel like it was a huge addition. It was just something that I was like, I know it's good for me. So open your bottle up and monitor your health with it. Because I would say for me in the past year, the other product that's been like that has been the CBD Beauty Boost. Or if I didn't monitor my skin, I wouldn't know it looked different. So I just am so thankful to know that you share that entire talk with us, that entire class, I would say. But I also want to remind you just in a simple way, like when you take Essential Zyme, when you take Life 9, like monitor your health as you take it, monitor the changes, and know that there is a reason. We don't usually just start feeling different. There's always a reason that's linked to it, and a product that we can partner with our need, and then we have a story to share. So now what's super fun to kind of round out our call for tonight is there's a category 5 or 5 in a day. And this is a category for me that I struggle with. Maybe you don't, I do, because I'm like, yes, for tools, yes. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot to do it for a week. Yes. And then I like, don't do it. Yes, no. Probably similar to what Steph was saying about being consistent with social media. I think we're going to hear from the lovely Tracy Nielsen, who is my enroller. And she did not stalk me and have to convince me to use oils. I'm pretty sure I stalked her. And Tracy is such a warm-hearted person that is so good at systems that sometimes I forget. Like when I'm with her in person, especially, I forget how organized and timely and efficient, and someone who is just always able to lead out front with this and make it simple and reduce it down to here's what you do, here's why it works, and make it matter. So systems and apps and technology, all those things, they only matter if we can humanize them. So Tracy is great at that. So I'm going to hand this off to her. And guys, go ahead. Type on in the comments some questions you have. I know it's 10. Who cares? Here's the deal. We're not going to stay on to 11, but we will get through the amazingness Tracy has to offer, and we will have time for questions because you might have a burning one, and I want you to have the opportunity to do it. Thanks, Tracy.
Oh my goodness, you're like the sweetest thing. So let me just tell you something. I need to have systems and tools and apps because quite frankly, I can easily forget to do things. Let me just tell you a little Actually, she pretty much has like a photographic memory. Like she doesn't need to write it down or put it in her calendar. Like she just remembers things. I'm like, how do you remember that? We talked about this like 2 years ago. How do you remember? I have to like have it written down because I don't recall information very well. So just putting it out there, like, here's the thing, that's really cool is we all learn very differently. So I agree, when you're consistent, right? Use the tool that you're going to work and work for you. Does that make sense, right? The tool is only as good, or the app is only as good as you are in using it. So if you have something and you're like, I haven't opened this up in a while, that's an opportunity for you to go in there and like really get in and see, is this tool working for you? Are you getting in there? Or maybe it's something else that you need to do, but consistency really is key. Before I get into a tool that I really, really love, and we're going to talk about it in particular for helping our members and growing our business. One of the best tools, just kind of following that, is app agnostic. It's platform agnostic. Agnostic meaning like for everybody, whether you teach in person, one-on-one, social media, vendor events, in all the ways. Do you know what is the best tool you could be doing and you could be using right now? Let me just tell you, if you're not going to like an Oily Education event, a call, an underground call, a retreat, when Young Living comes to your town, right, and does an event, when Danette's talking, I don't know about you guys, I'm like this. Tell me more, Danette. Please tell me more. And I write down furiously everything that she's saying, because here's the thing, the best tool that we can utilize, in my opinion, is just soaking it in. The information, the stories, right? Because here's the thing, someone will ask me, what oils, what supplements do I need for X, Y, and Z? You guys, I'm not Google. I don't remember everything, but you know what? I'll remember stories. I'll take notes, right? I can refer people to come into a call when we're doing something, right? Or maybe a video that someone from our upline or crossline or our team has done. But let me just tell you, when these opportunities come up where you can learn, like we did tonight with Danette, come and learn. But this is why it's so awesome that you guys are on this call. That's why it's so important, and making sure that people know to be on these calls. Because guess what? How many of you, tell me in the chat, how many of you learned something tonight from Danette that you never knew before? Now, what can you do with that information? Because now you know. It's because you came here and showed up. So I feel like that is one of the best tools that you can take advantage of, is what the team offers for Oily Education, right? Again, this is a huge reason why I love to go to in-person. I will tell you, I built pretty much like 95% online. I love to go to in-person events because I learned not just from like the formal presentations, but like in the hallway conversations, when we're going to the bathroom and then you start chatting about something, and before you know it, you're having a 30-minute conversation on gut health and poop, right? Like all those fabulous conversations, those are the tools, those are the stories to record and catalog and to remember and write down, because those are the things that you can take with you and share. So just wanted to put that out there, that before we get into like technical tools, I think the best tool is the Oily Education that your team already provides. So make sure you get plugged in. So last week I talked about life steps, in particular for prospects. This week I want to delve a little bit deeper and really kind of talk to you about how you can use this for your members and for your business. So you'll notice that with each of the different 5 a day, right? The 5th thing doing is usually something from Life Steps. So I hope you've been really utilizing this tool. It's amazing. It's pretty much like part Oily Education, part photo library that you can repurpose, part business education, part business resource. Like there's so many different facets in this. It's not just one linear thing. There's a lot of different things in here that you can for your business. So I personally like using Life Steps and tools like that, because I am all about saving time and being efficient. The other really cool thing about the app, and I'll go into more detail in just a little bit, is it's easy to really stay on top of what you need to do. Like there's even a task list. Like some said, I wish I knew what I needed to do each day. Well, you're in the summer fun run, right? So you've got 5 things you should be doing each day. But after the fun run, what do? Well, it's in your task list in the Life Steps tool. So it's really great for those of you who like to just sort of have like a running list of things that you need to do, which is great. I like to have that too. I also love using the app because I talked about this last, but I think it's really important when you use the tool, tell your team you're using the tool, because guess what you do duplicates. So I like to tell my members all the time, yep, I'm not creating that original content. I didn't create that graphic. I grabbed it from Life Steps. I texted it out. I grabbed it from Life Steps. I put it in my Facebook group. So when your team sees, right, and you talk about how you're using those tools, those resources, then they see that you're not doing it all. You're not creating it all. I want to focus my time on prospecting, building connections, oily education, not the graphics, right? Not all those other things. The other thing, and I mentioned this last week as well, people want to share things on Facebook. It has never been more true than it has been this year. Even if you're doing the really cool, like, quick tips, right? I think some of us are doing that on Facebook. It's awesome, but guess what? I'm still only seeing a very small percentage of people who are actually using it. What I love about Life Steps is that it's completely outside of social media. So it's a
It seems we lost Tracy. That was so good. I don't want her to freeze. Ashley.
Sorry, I
Tracy's
turned my vid-
gone. She froze.
I know. So it's sorry. I turned off my video because my kid made me literally like a tray of snacks and more of a turmeric sparkling water ninja. It was just a lot happening at one time. So I'm sorry. And I know that's really random, but guys, if you run a family business, I'm like, I feel like this is totally, he like stalks me when I have classes and like walks back and forth and wants to help me do all the things and brings me oils. And I mean, there's like packages around me, like my entire convention box. And I'm like, you're so helpful and cute, but I don't need you to be helpful and cute right now, later. So Tracy, I think, is back. Tracy, and I don't know if you guys realize this, she's on a family vacation. She did not intend to be here tonight. And the reason I'm kind of saying that to you guys is I want to remind you all that even if we have systems and plans, sometimes we kind of have to flow with it and do something different. Like me right now, or like Tracy on our family vacation. So Tracy, I want to hand it back to you.
I'm back. Sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. Internet connection in the vacation rental. Okay, so we were just getting into the nitty gritty. I so apologize for that. Into the Life Steps app and how you can use it. So a few different ways is one, I already mentioned the task list. So let me show you just of what this looks like. And you might not be able to see it on my phone. It doesn't show up on the web version, but I can literally go through here and look to see the things that I need to do. So really cool. And again, if you're a person who likes to check something off your list, this is going to be a really cool tool that you can use, is go through and see, okay, someone has an ER order that's processing. I need to go and follow up with them and see, order up to date, or I need to send a care package to someone who just enrolled. So there's a really great task list here that you can use. The other really cool thing on the topic of member care, what I love about the Life Steps app is they already have like happy mail postcards and ideas that you can use in there. So I can go in there and see, okay, there's a DIY roller, there's a diffuser postcard, and I can actually print that out, or you can do Vistaprint, whatever kind of works for you. You can include a sample and then send as happy mail, right, on your own to your members. So again, it's already got a lot of the resources that maybe you've been looking for on Etsy and other places. They've got it in there, so utilize it. The other cool thing that's in Life Steps that can be fantastic for member support are courses. You may have seen it in there, especially within the app itself on your phone. You'll see it on the bottom. So everything from, courses on specific product lines like Thieves, Ningxia Red, Savvy, CBD. There's even a course for new Young Living members. I want you to think about this, right? So it's off social media. You can grab the link for that course or just tell a new member, here's your Life Steps link. Go ahead and watch this list of, this course on, becoming a new member. And, it's just a really great way to welcome someone in. And that's, again, off social media. I don't know about you, but I have a growing number of people, like new people who have joined, who aren't on social media or aren't super active on social media. And so this has been a really great way to get them information without relying just on a Facebook group. The other cool thing with courses is for anybody in the business, right? Like maybe I have a conversation with them, maybe we've texted, maybe we've talked in person. I can send them a course on new to the business, and they can watch a series of videos in there, including, April Pointer, who's part of our summer fun run, and Aaron Rodgers as well. So really cool that they can they can access resources like that. So that's under courses. The other thing that I love within the app for member care is photos and graphics. I love them. And I will tell you my dirty little secret, seriously spend all day taking cute photos with the cute lighting, editing them, creating pretty graphics. But for me personally, I don't find that it's a really good use of my time, because I would rather be focused on the connections with prospects. I'd rather be focused on the connections and the engagement with my members and my business builders. So I really leverage what's within Steps app. Oh my goodness. Pretty much every product line within Young Living, social media graphics, DIY, Spotlight, all kinds of great information that you can use on media. You can text it out to someone. I mean, sometimes I'll just show it to someone too. Like you can even email it to them. Whatever works for you works great for prospects and for members. This is usually how it goes down for me. Now, tell me in the comment box if this is how it is for you. I'll be talking to someone, whether it's in person or through text, right? We'll be talking about something and they'll say, I've been really interested in sunscreen, or I have been really curious about the new shampoo that came out. You know what? Having to write down everything, go search it up in my Facebook group, or go look it up on the Young Living website. I can grab the product information from the app, and it's a link. Here's the link. Here's more information. I cannot tell you how much time that saves me, because I'm utilizing the resource that's already there. And again, so duplicable. I'm showing my leaders exactly how I'm doing it too. So if you're not leveraging the photos and the graphics that's already there, it's awesome. The other thing that I like to do is repurpose content within the app. So every month, Life Steps has a newsletter. So for instance, in the June newsletter, you're going to see June diffuser recipes. You're going to see the June supplement spotlight. You're going to see the June DIY. You're going to see the June books of the month, like resources. So you know what I like to do? I like to email those resources out. It's one newsletter link, and I can send it out to anybody, right? Maybe my personally enrolled. I could send it out to different, legs within my team, and send them that newsletter link along with some additional information. Again, it just makes it so much simpler, because I'm not having to recreate the wheel. And if someone's asking me for something really specific, like, again, information on a supplement, information on a specific, I can just grab it from the Life Steps app and easily send it out to them. So one more thing that I will say, and this may not be the popular answer, is I prefer to do my own text. So tell me in the comment box, do you have an assistant who helps you, or do you like to text your members yourself? I will tell you, I also really love the app Project. You know what? Probably up until I was maybe platinum, maybe even diamond, there was no Project Broadcast. I would text, solo text. I'd be texting like 50 to 100 texts at a time to people. I will tell you, it was like cutting your teeth, right? And like putting in the work. for building those connections with people the old fashioned way. But I will tell you, even though I'm leveraging the Project Broadcast app right now, I have to send the text myself. And I'll tell you why. The way that I remember things is through interactions. And I don't know if you're this way too, but if I'm removed from those interactions, it's hard for me to remember that so-and-so was using this or so-and-so needed that. I remember from those conversations we have, even if it's through text or even it's through email. So I really like to do those things myself personally, but you might be different. But I like to say that because I want you to know that, if you're looking for a way to save time, you can still do it by grabbing the content from Life Steps, but sending the text yourself through Project Broadcast. I like to see the responses that come back and help people that way. So I'd be really curious what you guys like to do. But again, if you haven't used the Life Steps app for member education and talking to your builders and just making those connections, I would highly encourage you do it. And I'm going to turn it back over to Ashley.
What about, do you guys have any questions? I'm waiting for it. I know it's late.
Carmela has a question.
Awesome.
We've had one interpreter the whole time. I think she's exhausted. Everyone's been talking very fast. So just if this happens again, could we please have 2 interpreters? This is Carmela saying this. She's been going for well over an hour. There's a lot of information. It's just, wow, too much information for me to absorb for one poor interpreter. And, deaf people are behind hearing people because we're getting it secondhand. So I just want to let you know, wow, this is a lot of information for one night and for 1 hour.
You're welcome. I'm getting them. I'm sorry. We talk fast. I always do say with information, too much you can eliminate, but not enough, you don't feel like you learned anything. So this definitely is fire hose style training for all of you guys. And that's why this summer fun run works, because it's not just prospecting. It's not just member care, but every day, if you want to grow a sustainable organization, you're doing the things, the hard things, these categories. And it doesn't mean you're perfect, and it doesn't mean you do it every day, and it doesn't mean it's uninterrupted. And for me today, I met with 3 members I didn't know I would be, and then I do phone calls with people I didn't know I'd have. I probably prospected very little. I haven't posted my reel a day yet. Like, there's things, geez, I need water, that ebb and flow, but I want to remind everyone of that. Do we have any other questions before we get, oh geez, look at y'all with your notes. Lindsay and I don't have notes.
Hey, Jess, I'm putting my notes here in the chat.
I love that you guys have notes. It's so nice.
And just tell Carmela that she can save the chat as
chat.
well before it closes, and then she'll be able to get the notes.
Steph, now that you're unmuted, tell us your top 1, 2, 5, 10, 7, 17 reels tips. I know you said to do reels, but I think a lot of us, like I'm saying me, like I'm doing them. And what you said earlier was so good. I did one last night and it was super cute. I'm like, I am so cute. Like, this is so cute. My kids are cute. We're all so cute. I had the hashtags that were researched that I should use. And I'm like, why did 2 people watch it and 3,000 people watch this lame one? I don't understand.
It's funny because today I did a reel as well, and I was like, this is so awesome. Why did like no one watch it? And then I was following Brock Johnson, and somebody asked him a question, and in the comment he said, do you rather go to a party or go to school? Because somebody said, why do the reels that are like super funny and don't sometimes have any education do super well on Instagram? That's when he said, do people like to go to parties, do they like to go to school? And so a lot of people like to go to parties, so they like fun stuff. But you can also do fun stuff with whatever it is that you're talking about. It doesn't have to always be serious. And like I said at the beginning, you have to do what's comfortable for you, right? If you like to be goofy and fun and act silly, then do goofy and fun and act silly in your reels. If you really love to educate, then educate. Like, there's no right or wrong way to do a reel. It's the way that you want to do it. And it's also, you know, what I do is when I see a reel and I think it's hilarious, I save everything. I don't know if everyone knows, there's like I don't know, on the right side, you can save graphics, you can save whatever on Instagram to go back and look at it. So I create, those of you that might not know, but on Instagram, you can create like little folders, and I create a reel folder and I just save them all there. And when I'm lacking creativity, I go in and I search, and I'm like, oh, that would be really funny if I talked about XYZ with this reel. So I just think there's no right or wrong way to do a reel. And I think that do whatever makes you comfortable. You know, we talk about this all the time: be authentic, be you, be real, be all these things, like be real in your reels. It's legit that, because I'll be watching people do reels and it's pure education. Like their whole Instagram is like pure education. They're not goofy, they're not funny, and they blow up. And then people are randomly dancing, doing like these weird stuff, and those blow up. So I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. I just think it's you being you, and let that literally shine through, and that's what's going to do well. And you never know when a video is going to do well. Like sometimes I do a video, I'm like, that was so hilarious, and I'm like, not one person, but you know what I mean, like nobody really saw it. But then I think about it, and I don't know where heard this analogy, I probably saw it on Instagram somewhere, is if 300 people looked at your reel, or 20 people, or 50 people, or whatever number that is, if all those people ended up in your house, wouldn't that be a lot of people like that showed up at your house? If like 300 people came to hear you talk about XYZ, you might be like, wow, that's a lot of people. So if 300 people on the internet watch your reel, isn't that a lot of people? That's a lot of people. That's 300 people that maybe didn't know who you were before. So my tip is, when it comes to reels, just do it. Like I don't know what else to say other than just do the thing. Just do the reel, but kind of maybe experiment. Maybe dancing will be amazing, like, and that'll work for you, and do some education at the same time. I don't know if that answered your question, but I just think there's so many different ways to do reels, and everyone does them completely different on Instagram. And also save your reels and then put them in your Facebook stories as well. And always share and then always share your reel to your Instagram stories as well. So so once you're done a reel, and if you use TikTok, download your reel as well, and then upload that to TikTok. Find the song on TikTok and use it there. Like find multiple ways to use that one video. So put it in your Facebook stories. If you use TikTok, put it in TikTok, and then share it to your Instagram stories as well. Hope that was helpful.
Steph, it's helpful. It's just so extra. So extra in a good way. What I mean by that is what she just said is, so guys, let's recap slowly. Save the reel. So I'm making one right now because today I had no reel to make. Like you like that? You like my song? I'm cleaning. It's so fun. It's gonna be so fun. Yay. My whole point is I'm telling you all this, like, I don't like this. Like, I want to talk to people in person. Like this, like literally when I make them, I'm always like, and I sit there and I wait for people to watch it like this. Because here's the thing. I want to speak clearly about this. If you're like me most of the people that follow me on Instagram are my friends, like actual friends, like in person, like, hey. So I have never felt more uncomfortable than this week, where people are like, I saw your reel, and here I'm gonna tell you both. The first comment was, I'm really surprised you used that song. And I was like, it was popular, it was suggested. Don't really know the song. Second one, ready? And I'm just gonna be real because I want you to hear my real. There you go. Second one was, I have been doing running ones and I run in a sports bra and shorts, and I'm pretty sure it covers more of my body than most people do in their regular clothes. But they're like, oh, I saw you're just wearing a sports bra all these days. And I was like, I don't know what that means about you or me, or maybe that you don't comment or like you don't do anything, you don't engage with me, you just watch. But then today I'm in Orange Theory running on the treadmill between two people. And so I want to tell you guys, they are both very successful entrepreneurs in their own businesses, and they're not close friends. They're people I just have met before. They asked me if on July 6th, after the 9 a.m. class, if we could go to the coffee shop next door and I could help them learn how to put their business on Instagram. I have like one follower, I feel like, and that's it. Like, I feel like I don't do that well. So I'm like sprinting up a hill basically. And these two men are talking to me about this. They could propel my business forward in a way they would never know by the connection of them just sharing what I'm doing. Like, I'll teach them my one snippet of knowledge gladly, but I don't think they realize that for me, it's not the area I'm an expert in. So if they share what I'm doing or collaborate with me, it's very helpful because they're watching me online, but we know each other in person. And if that's you, I hope this is helpful because it might not be applicable to you, but for me, it's interesting to see the more I've shown up on Instagram, and I did not believe it was valuable for my business. And now I'm like, it is. The more when I go places in person, even if the two comments at first I shared with you sounded negative, they weren't negative. They were curious. And I want you to invite that curiosity. They actually weren't negative. They were curious because I really listen to music that's, if it offends you, I'm sorry. But for me, I would listen to Christian music or sometimes really clean other music if my kids are bored. But I don't listen to the songs I use on Instagram Reels. I use a sound clip. It's 20 seconds. I know the algorithm is supposed to be suggested song. Like, I do that and I'm okay with it. But I think for me, I need to learn to respond in a way that's honoring my business. Like, I'm okay with like, yeah, I'm building a business on Instagram and you are too. And with saying that, it means I'm not doing it because it's fun necessarily every time or because I'm going to change a life by sharing. I mean, I want you to be with me on this. My Facebook has always been like a personal, like, yes, Young Living's part of it, but it's been like, I share what I do. I share my kids, like I share my life. So when I do a reel, for me at this point, like, I'm doing this to build a business and I'm testing it. I'm trying it. I'm figuring it out. And I want people to notice that it's different from what they've seen me do before, because I want to attract different people. So Steph, you school me so well because you've showed me things that I should show up for and lean into. So I want to thank you for that because I'm like, I feel so like it's uncomfortable for people to say things to you in person that you do online. If you've never had that experience, for me, it's like so uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm the same person. I just am more fun online, maybe. And it's interesting because my community is in person. So when I share extra online, my in-person community really notices and they want to know like why, or like what's the purpose, or what are you doing, or how can we be part of it. It's 10:30. I'm so sorry. Ask Steph more questions because I talk way too much. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Pop off. The recording is 1,800 hours, and that's totally going to be fine because you're people who are all in it this is like 5 classes in one. I want to encourage you, if you send this recording to anyone, you probably want to ask them to tell you what they learned because it's a lot. So I encourage you to use it in your business in a way that honors who you are and how your people learn. So I want to thank you so much to Steph and to Lindsay and Tracy and Danette and all of the other diamonds we partnered with for Summer Fun Run. We will have more to come. We'll announce it to you. But for now, that's a wrap. Good night. Thank you so much. And we can't wait to lean into this growth and learning more with you in the future.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.